Running Back Nation, what is good? It is your boy DJ Swood, Running Back Philly, no frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Hit the like button, that helps me out greatly. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, turn your notifications on. Listen, we're going to talk about updates on Joel Embiid, updates on James Harden, and Philadelphia 76ers reporters making excuses for Doc Rivers. But before we get into that, I want to let you guys know we are now on Patreon. We're going to be doing 76ers play breakdowns after every single game. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but every time I post any clip of any highlight on YouTube, they attack me right away. They demonetize it. A lot of times they block it completely, take it down, so it's time wasted. So we're going to be doing it on Patreon. There you can see is the Patreon Run It Back Philly in-depth play breakdowns of the Philadelphia 76ers. I have not posted anything yet. The first one will be tomorrow after the Philadelphia 76ers versus Phoenix Suns game tonight. So if you want all of the play breakdowns after Philadelphia 76ers games, completely uncensored, completely ad-free, completely copyright-free, you got to go sign up for the Patreon. And everybody that signs up for the Patreon will get a shout-out on the channel. Also, the merch store, man. Go to the merch store. Get yourselves some trucker hats. Get yourselves some T-shirts, some hoodies. Get yourselves the Fire Glenn T-shirt so we can continue to spread the word to get this guy up out of here, because the Philadelphia 76ers are going absolutely nowhere with Doc Rivers at the helm. And that's why this article that I'm about to go over is very interesting. First order of business. Joel Embiid was a full participant at shoot-around. He's still listed as questionable tonight versus the Suns. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't even know what's wrong with Joel Embiid at this point. It's a blur to me. You start the season slow. Then they tell us you got plantar fasciitis in the offseason, so you couldn't work out, so that's why you look slow. Except we forgot to tell you that before the season started because we wanted to hype it up to sell tickets and jerseys and things like that before the season starts. So they say that, and then he's sitting out with a knee injury management. That's what they said when he sat out that Bulls game, I believe. Or, I don't know. Again, it's a blur, but there was something with a knee also. Then he had an illness, and he was out for an unlisted amount of time. It seems like, 5 straight games now. I think it was only 3 games, but it felt like 100. So Joel Embiid may be back tonight. He was at shoot-around. He was a full participant. He may play tonight against the Phoenix Suns, and it'll be interesting to see what the offense looks like with Joel Embiid on the floor and still without James Harden, because like I said, the Sixers have absolutely no identity without James Harden on the floor. It looks like a YMCA pickup game. All right, so I'm interested to see what the game looks like tonight without James Harden and with Joel Embiid. I would expect his usage rate to be up considerably. I would expect us to go kind of do what we were doing last year where we run everything through him, except I feel like he was in much better shape last year. So I don't know what to expect. But I can tell you this, there will be a breakdown of what I see on the floor tomorrow morning on the brand new Patreon page. So there's the update on Joel Embiid. Keith Pompey did post a video of Joel Embiid working out. He said this is part of his conditioning. What did he say here? Joel Embiid. This is the end of Joel Embiid's post-practice 3 versus 3 full-court game with members of the 76ers player development staff. Funny that they have a player development staff and they can't develop any players. They were on the court for around 25 minutes. This is part of the All-Star Center's conditioning program. So he's doing a 3-on-3 full-court game with members of the conditioning staff, and that's part of his conditioning. I personally, I'm not a development staff member. I would just make the guy do suicides until he's down to about 250 pounds and it has better conditioning and can stay in shape and stay healthy, but that's just me. We'll see if Joel Embiid plays tonight, man. I'm sorry if I sound ultra negative, but this team is absolutely pissing me off lately, so here we are. All right? Moving on. Doc Rivers revealed that James Harden is wearing a walking boot on his right foot. Keith missed the word foot right there. It's just no comment. And has been instructed to not put any weight on his foot. Harden is away from the Sixers while attending to a family matter. So here we go. There you see the first reply. Guess Fat Harden will be back. Yeah, this is what I was worried about when I first heard that James Harden had the strained tendon in his foot, is that he would not actually be able to work out or do any form of cardio while his foot is injured. And we know what James Harden not being able to do any cardio looks like. It looks like what we got last year. He looked good for about 3 or 4 games, and then he totally burned out and gave us nothing in the playoffs. This makes me worried. Let me know in the comments, are you worried? Do you think this 1 month of James Harden in a boot without being able to condition is going to affect him, or am I overreacting and should I shut the fuck up and James Harden's not going to be affected by it? It's just a month. He'll be fine. He might be a little rusty when he comes back, but it won't take long for him to get back in his shape. Let me know what you think. But I'm telling you right now, man, it sucks because James Harden put so much work in the offseason to get back in shape. And I'm not saying he's going to get totally out of shape by sitting for 1 month. But yeah, it just, it kind of sucks that he's going to come back and then it's going to take even more time for him to get back into the groove of things after sitting out for a month, especially because it's a strained tendon in the foot and he is wearing a boot on his foot. And he can't condition while wearing a boot on his foot. He can't put any weight on the foot. All right. 2 things that are negative so far about this team going into tonight against these Phoenix Suns. By the way, Isaiah Joe had 8 points last night off the bench for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just want to throw that in there. Add salt to the wounds. That's what I'm doing here on Run It Back Philly every single day. I'm adding salt to the wounds. Now, our friend Keith Pompey wrote an article titled, Doc Rivers has one of the NBA's toughest jobs and shouldn't be the Sixers fall guy. That is f***ing hilarious. One of the NBA's toughest jobs and shouldn't be the 76ers fall guy. So I have not read the article yet because I thought this title was so ridiculous that I should read it and react live on YouTube for added effect. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Doc Rivers has one of the NBA's toughest jobs and shouldn't be the 76ers fall guy. The Sixers are 4-6 so far and have struggled to implement their new players. They've also spent a significant portion of the season without James Harden or Joel Embiid. Significant portion of the season? I think we only played 2 games without James Harden. Significant portion of the season without Joel Embiid, I'll give you that. I don't know where this line comes from, Keith Pompey. Doc Rivers has perhaps the NBA's toughest coaching job. Why is that? Are you gonna explain that to me in this article? I really hope you are. He's leading a 76ers squad that has high expectations, despite the fact that Joel Embiid and James Harden, their all-star tandem, don't fit. What? What? Where'd that come from? He's leading a 76ers squad that has high expectations despite the fact that Joel Embiid and James Harden, their all-star tandem, don't fit? What is it? How do you open an article like that, Keith? What? Nor does the team have a true point guard or towering backup center on the roster. James Harden's not a true point guard? I agree we don't have a towering backup center on the roster because Doc didn't play Charles Bassey and they cut him. What is he talking about? They don't fit and they don't have a true point guard. In addition, some of the team's ballyhooed offseason acquisitions haven't lived up to the hype. Bruh. I'm not here to roast Keith Pompey, but what the fuck am I reading? Yet Rivers is destined to become the fall guy of if the Sixers can't overcome their shortcomings. Good. Destined to be the fall guy. Good. Listen to local sports talk radio, view social media, or even bump into a neighbor, and folks are stating that it's time for Rivers to go. Yes, they are. You're absolutely right. Fans are all but begging manager, partner Josh Harris, and team president of basketball operations Daryl Morey to duplicate what the Phillies did. Yes, we are. Absolutely. 100%. You're correct. On June 3rd, with a 22-29 record, 12-game deficit, the Phillies fired Joe Girardi and went to the World Series. We know that. Some fans want Morey and Harris to elevate Rivers' trusted assistant Sam Cassell in a similar capacity. Yes. Yes, we do. The Sixers are currently 4-6 in jeopardy of posting their second 3-game skid of the early season heading into Monday night's game against the Phoenix Pistons at the Wells Fargo Center. 10 games does not make a season, especially not an 82-game campaign. I agree with that. But anything less than an Eastern Conference Finals appearance would be deemed a failure for the Sixers. Absolutely correct. But the Sixers' struggles aren't solely Rivers' fault. This is a tough team to coach because the styles of Embiid and Harden don't mix. When did we... Okay. Let's put it this way then. Who does fit with Joel Embiid then? Huh? Who does? Who does fit? Because we went 5 years saying that Ben Simmons doesn't fit alongside Joel Embiid. Now we have a true shooting, perimeter, facilitating point guard on the squad, and you're telling me they don't fit? Do they have two different styles of play? Yes. They're not both centers that post up. That doesn't mean they don't fit. Opposite play styles are something you want on an NBA team for fit, right? Did Tony Parker and Tim Duncan play the same style of basketball? No. One was a point guard, one was a power forward. But they fit. That doesn't make any sense. Well, you need 5 guys to play the same position for it to fit? Harden is ball dominant and has made a knack of thriving in isolation plays. Embiid is a perennial all-star. Is at his best when the Sixers play through him? Not true. He's mostly been out of sync and had poor body language while playing alongside Harden. Absolutely not true. The Philadelphia 76ers have actually been better. Their offensive rating is higher. Their defensive rating is higher. And Joel Embiid has scored more points when we run the team through James Harden at the perimeter and let Embiid roam around the paint, getting his open spots and getting easier baskets. That is entirely not true, Keith Pompey. PJ Tucker, the team's top offseason acquisition, is a vocal leader but has struggled in the defensive end. Yeah, because Doc Rivers is making him play against Kristaps Porzingis, who's 7'3". The guy's 6'5". It's ridiculous. Again, you listed 2 or 3 things here so far that is 100% Doc Rivers' fault. But continue, please. The Sixers also signed Montrezl Harrell as the backup center. We don't know if they signed him as the backup center. Doc Rivers seems to think he is the backup center, even though Paul Reed's contributions in the backup center position so far have severely outweighed Montrezl Harrell's contributions. But continue. This ain't easy, George Niang said. And you think about it like you're bringing new pieces together. We're 10 games into the year. I hate to compare ourselves to other teams, but Boston struggled early last season and flipped the switch and went to the NBA Finals. I agree with that. People forget they were 40 games in and got on a run. You want to get hot at the right time. That's not a bad comparison at all, except for the fact that the Boston Celtics have 2 all-star level perimeter players, and they have great defenders on their team, and they have a coach that knows how to, a GM, everybody knows how to strategize and get the most out of them. If you look, the Boston Celtics are always one of the top defensive teams in the NBA, and I think that's more important even than their offense, and we are one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. The Boston Celtics are always one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. We are one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA, so not a good comparison now that I think about that. We're still figuring things out and figuring out what works, Niang said. Like, Doc didn't coach. Why are we asking George Niang, by the way? Why are we? Who's like, let's go figure out what's wrong with this team. Let's go ask George Niang. Embiid has also been out missing the past 3 games with the flu, blah, blah, blah. Like, we played 10 games and Joel has only been available for 6 of them, Niang said. That's about right, 60%. That's about right. You can't use that as an excuse. He only plays about 60% of every season. So you have to give this stuff time, and he's a Hall of Fame coach. He's one of the best coaches of all. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. At 61 years old, Rivers is 9th all-time in NBA regular season coaching victories at 1,047 and 741 record. It stops the Orlando Celtics, Magic, Los Angeles Clippers, and Sixers. Yeah, well, guess what? He got fired from the Magic, he got traded from the Celtics, and he got fired from the Clippers, and he's going to get fired from the Sixers too. Don't give me his regular season winning record. Congratulations. You had 4 Hall of Famers on the Boston Celtics team. You had 2 Hall of Famers on the LA Clippers team. You started 1-10 with the Orlando Magic and got canned, and you're going to get fired from the Sixers. I don't care about that record. Rivers in his 24th season also ranks 4th list of all time. Blah, blah, blah. Blow smoke up Doc Rivers' ass some more, Keith. Why are we showing a picture of Greg Popovich and Doc Rivers next to each other? He's developed Maxey into a star player. I'm out of here, man. Listen, I never read Keith's articles. Never. Not one of them. I've seen the jokes on Twitter. I've heard him ask questions in press conferences. But good God. I can't read anymore. I'm out. I can't read anymore, man. Anyway, listen. Sixers Suns tonight. We'll see what happens. If Joel Embiid plays, we probably have a shot. You know, we need Tyrese Maxey to continue what he's been doing scoring-wise. We need him to shoot a little bit better than 10 for 29. We need a little bit more organization on the offensive side of the ball. We need him and D'Anthony Melton to not combine 5 for 41 from 3 or whatever it was, 15 for 40 from the field, and 4 for 27 from 3 or something crazy. So if we have a little bit better of a shooting night from the perimeter and Joel Embiid plays in the game, we have a chance to win. If Joel Embiid doesn't play in the game, I don't know what to say. We'll see. Give me all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. It's your boy, DJ Eastwood. Join the Patreon for the play breakdown tomorrow morning. And every single person that signs up will get a shout-out. We're going to be doing polls on there. We're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff on the Patreon that we can't do here on YouTube. So check it out. And go to the merch store. And I'm out. Peace.